Hey everybody, and welcome in to the second edition of College Football Resume Rankings. This week there are 21 undefeated teams that remain. There are 38 one-loss teams that remain. I struggled. I thought maybe I would include two-loss teams in this, like Notre Dame, Texas, Miami, and others. But then I would have had to include teams like a lot of other bad two-loss teams. This will work itself out. Next week, I will include two-loss teams are better. Most of the teams will have 5 games under their belt. With that said, let's just get started. And this is kind of just a jumble of a lot of teams. You can have your own preference, put teams ahead, put teams below. This is just what I have right now, week 4, or going into week 5. Indiana is 3-1. They have 2 good wins. Illinois, Western Kentucky. They lost to Cincinnati. Now, I'll just show you Oregon and Georgia. Normally, Oregon would be ahead of Georgia because I value good wins over the amount of losses that you have. But Georgia has that head-to-head win over Oregon. That puts them at number 2. And Oregon is number 3 with the win over BYU and Washington State this past weekend. Clemson is number 4, undefeated with that win over Wake Forest. What a game. What an amazing weekend of college football. So many upsets, so many teams skating by. North Carolina State comes in at number 5, undefeated with that win over Texas Tech. Florida State undefeated with the win over LSU. Tennessee undefeated with the win over Pitt. USC drops a little bit. Stanford went down, and Rice went down. So their only good win is Oregon State. Michigan jumps way up. They are now ranked. They are 4-0, and they have that win over Maryland. Penn State 4-0 with the win over Auburn. Kansas is 4-0 with the win over Duke. UCLA is undefeated with the win over South Alabama. James Madison is 3-0 with the win over Middle Tennessee State. Texas A&M is 3-1 with one good win over Arkansas, and they lost to Appalachian State. Arkansas lost to Texas A&M, is 3-1. They have a win over Cincinnati. BYU is 3-1 with the win over Baylor. Lost to Oregon. Baylor is 3-1 with the win over Iowa State. Lost to BYU. Iowa State is 3-1 with the win over Iowa. Lost to Baylor. Tulane beat Kansas State and lost to Southern Mississippi. Kansas State is 3-1 with the win over Oklahoma, and they lost to Tulane. Iowa comes in at number 21, 3-1 with the win over Rutgers. They lost to Iowa State. LSU is number 22, 3-1 with the win over Mississippi State. Lost to Florida State. Wake Forest is 3-1 with the win over Liberty and barely lost in overtime to Clemson. We move up here. Mississippi State comes in at number 24, 3-1 with a win over Memphis, lost to LSU. Cincinnati is 3-1 with a win over Indiana and lost to Arkansas. Auburn is 3-1, skating by Missouri this past week. They have a good win versus San Jose State and lost to Penn State. California is 3-1. They beat UNLV, lost to Notre Dame. And these two I have flipped because Liberty beat UAB 3-1, and they lost to Wake Forest. UAB is 2-1, lost to Georgia Southern. Or beat Georgia Southern, lost to Liberty. Ohio State comes in at number 30. Notre Dame is not a good win no longer, and no longer is Toledo. They are 4-0 and no good wins, no losses. Alabama is number 31, 4-0, no good wins, no losses. And Minnesota is your last team, and there were, I believe, 3 or 4 other undefeated teams with no good wins. and no losses. So there you have it. Resume ranking, edition number 2, week 5. Thanks, everybody. Remember to like the video, share, subscribe, and have a great day.